piece of trash. Up the prices again, but he's the only one dealing with us. You have to go through him. I don't feel comfortable with you spending all that money on me. Yeah, all that crap is draining my accounts, that's for sure. But I need it for myself as well. Besides, I'd like to avoid you doing something stupid or reckless because you were starving. That's valid. You still think you need to hold my hand after last night? I should be holding your hand even more. We're walking blindly here, Charlie. But hopefully after meeting Doc, we'll have a better understanding of you. Just remember to be careful about what you say and do. Doc works for arbitration, so telling her what happened is a very bad idea. Okay? You need to be tactful and smart. Yeah, I understand the game plan. Try to sniff out what she knows and see where it goes from there. Exactly. There should be no surprises. This is a situation that should be easy to deal with. Hey, don't jinx it. Just saying. If we need to, we can just back off. Figure out an excuse. It doesn't even have to be believable. We don't care if she suspects something, but we don't want to give those suspicions a foundation. Fair enough. By the way, about last night. How are you doing? I'm fine. My neck is healed up, so is my wrist. I'm 100% now. Good. It's great to hear. I was thinking more... elevator music. Thinking more along the lines of, you know... I don't... Well, I mean, how are you feeling? Told you, I'm feeling fine. The way Amelia grabbed you, I don't know. I was hoping you'd pull something out of the Matrix, but... The what? Matrix, the movie? With Keanu Reeves? You haven't watched it? I don't watch TV. That's crazy. Well, it's not on TV. Never mind that. Just want you to know that I'm here if you need to talk about what happened. You're pretty shaken up back there, so... There's nothing to talk about. The only thing we should focus on is our mission. Okay, agreed. But you know... Look what's on yourself with me. Say you should worry about Amelia. What about her? I don't know what we're gonna do if she remembers what you did to her. True. Humans usually have trouble dealing with vampiric suggestion. We don't know what effect you would have on her. I mean, I told Elliot that she had nightmares and that she was tired. She was a nut job, but if she talked to me, you still believe her? Well, I guess we'll just have to cross that bridge when we have to. And I guess just do it to her again? Yeah. No, it might have been a adrenaline rush or a near-death experience. But I did get the feeling that you wanted to open up last night. So again, I'm here if you need me. That you are. Good talk. I'm just trying to help you out here. I think it will be good. Would do you good if you open up just a little bit. She's not going to. Just don't force it. Give it time. Doesn't look like the hospital. Hell is this place? Relax. Just a bit of precaution, that's all. So yeah, I think there's blood underneath the wheelchair. It's a bit unsettling, but expected. Don't worry about it. And what's with all the security? Your doors, cameras, keypads. But you wouldn't want someone snooping around while you were doing unnatural things. Yeah, it makes me wonder what kind of things I should expect to see beyond these doors. Aw, scared? Fear of ending up scarred? Yes. Hey, Doc. Really? And you brought company? Hi, I'm Charlie. What do you want? Okay, woman. Just wanted to ask you some questions. This here is Charlie. Just with me for the ride. As a doc, you should be smoking cigarettes. That's not healthy. You're a doctor, you should know. Come in. As the heavy door opens with a rolling sound from its hydraulic mechanism, you are taken aback by a sudden stench, sharply contrasting with the disinfectant smell of the hospital. Jesus, what's that smell? Dust, decomposition, probably some old chemicals and all sorts of garbage as well, along with all the critters crawling around. And thanks for painting that picture in my mind. What is this place? Still a hospital. That is its old, defunctioned wing. Doc told me it served as a sanatorium back in the day when this place was the only hospital around. She also told me it was deliberately built with an easy access to the incinerator, so that should speak of the quality of care. The city grew, and so did the need for a proper healthcare department. The workload got split between several different facilities. This wing was walled off. That was until arbitration needed a place that's close to the hospital, but also hidden from prying eyes. They pulled some strings to set up the doc's office here. If it pays well to be connected. Not with all the strings attached, trust me. I guess besides this place already creeps me out. I'd rather work for the rest of my life in my old crappy cubicle than spend a year working here. I don't want to be stuck here for longer than I needed either. Not to mention this place is a fucking nightmare to navigate. So you ever get the crazy idea to explore it? Just don't. And trust me, the last thing I need would be to get lost and I ruin this hospital. This place gives me the shivers. Let's change the subject then. Did you get this chance to set up your new email? I did. It's neoblood69@yahoo.com. Wonder if that even works in IRL. A bit on the nose, don't you think? But I like it. It's like hiding in plain sight. I'm not sure that's what the saying is about, but whatever. I'll send you an email when we're back home so we can keep in touch easier. Remember, stay away from any of your old communications. No old email addresses or messengers or chat rooms. None of that stuff. You don't have to repeat yourself. I got it the first time. What I can't wrap my head around are those exceptions to the rules. What do you mean? I mean, here I am talking all kind of precautions. Meanwhile, there's Doc being human and working for arbitration. Then you say vampires don't work for humans? That it goes double for those guys. Aren't they like the vampire police or something? Yeah, well, I also told you vampires are cunts and vultures. No exception. Being a hypocrite is just part of the package. But yeah, the Doc has some special privileges that are not given to any other human, at least to my knowledge. Can you tell me more about her deal with arbitration? The only thing I know is that she gets to rummage around our bodies to figure shit out and share her findings with arbitration. I'm guessing they need her research for something, but what that is not something I dare speculate. You're sure that going to her is a smart idea? Well, she's the only one I know that could shed some light on your abilities. Of course, her working for arbitration means we will have to be quite delicate. Nearly there, just around the corner. So, best not tell her anything about yesterday. Especially we're here on fact-finding mission to help you adjust to your new life. Yeah, don't worry, I get it. Okay. In stark contrast to the rest of the rundown wing, this room was obviously recently renovated and refurbished. The scent in the room was also quite different, although still as unique as the putrid odor in the corridors. You could still smell decay, but it was of a different, more organic kind, mixed with the smell of various hospital chemicals, and the familiar smell layered on top, nicotine and tar. Doc was undoubtedly a nicotine aficionado, and a sudden need for a smoke hit you immediately. So, what is this about? Need any more cadavers? Yeah, for me. Because I keep telling you people, that I'm not your personal funeral home. No cadavers, Doc. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. It won't take long. Fine. At least it's a nice change of pace. You're kind of usually completely disinterested in anything that doesn't concern their next meal. Our a psychologist, I know everything there is to know about a vampire within the first 3 hours of meeting one. Fortunately, your psychology provides for a much more interesting subject. While we're on the subject of next meals, do you mind if I put my blood in your freezer? Knock yourself out. Not that one, though. Unless you want to put it in what's left of someone's chest cavity. Poor bastard had his heart ripped out. Clean. Pretty brutal. There one the last few months as well. If I didn't know better, I'd say there's a vampire hunting vampires out here. But I digress. What did you guys want? Well, Charlie here is an orphan, made just a couple of days ago. With this Scion being gone, I'm in charge of introducing him to our happy little family and bringing him up to speed. So I thought to myself, who better to explain his new existence than the expert herself? And you thought the expert had nothing better to do with her time than to, what, run a vampire kindergarten? I mean, of course not, but there's a way to continue. Look, if you don't want to help us, just say so. All we wanted to say is that we are just curious about our condition. I was hoping you could spare some time to answer a few questions, that was all. If you are too busy to deal with us, we get it. It's fine. We apologize for the inconvenience. What was your name again? Charlie? Charlie. Here's Al. With a Y? Everyone calls me Doc. I'm stick with Doc, cause, you know. Well, stop saying me like a statue, Charlie. My neck is starting to hurt. Have a seat, you two. So, what do you guys want to know about? You have some time to figure out how to best approach the subject without raising too much suspicion. You realize that the best course of action will be to mention something completely unrelated and try to steer the subject to what you actually want to know. Sorry, I was wondering if that wheelchair at the entrance, Jason and puddle of blood is a normal thing, or what? I was fucking. You bring this up only now? Sorry, I didn't know if that sort of thing is expected around here. Of course it's not. Tell them countless time to clean up after themselves. That's not your problem. I'll deal with it. Thanks for telling me. Don't mention it. Now, what is it you were here about? I'm wondering about how do I put this? Can we still eat normal food when in a pinch or something? Is it safe? My research, straight up food poisoning shouldn't be that much of a concern to you. Granting your digestive system is only able to process blood, if you eat normal food, most of what you ingest will come out of you one way or the other. There shouldn't be any lasting effects. Worst case aspect, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Healthy diet, however, should exclusively consist of blood. Young, fresh, and uncontaminated, full of human blood is the best. If push comes to shove, a sick drunkard or even a dying animal will do. More ethical vampires tend to drink from blood bags, but blood quickly loses potency after being extracted from the body. It doesn't provide as much sustenance. Basically, try and get your hands on a live subject to nibble on. I see. How about a bit more raw subject? Like, what exactly am I? How did I become a vampire? Or how do we memorize people? What can I do? Well, that really is a very broad set of questions. I'll share with you my notes so you can go over them at your leisure. If you're really interested, I can go over some basics with you. Sure. Don't act polite with me, Charlie. If you aren't interested in your own biology, as most vampires aren't, this will sound like a boring lecture to you. More importantly, it will be a waste of my time. I think she needed your explanation, to be honest. Very well then. Let's start with what you kind of pompously calls the bite of unlife. The act of creating another vampire. First of all, the name is wrong. You are not unliving or undead or whatever. You're just infected. Or rather, were. You see, vampirism is nothing more than a result of a parasitic infection. The vampire's bite, when used for feeding, causes a reduction in blood coagulation. I know that word. For some reason, my brain will not let me pronounce it, but hopefully y'all know it too. And at the same time, it acts as a chemical depressant. It's all tip of my tongue. I cannot pronounce that word. I don't know why. It is a potent effect that, at the same time, makes the victim numb, more controllable, and easier to feed on. In combination with what you call mesmerizing, the victim can even remember the details of your encounter, though they may recall bits and pieces if it was a traumatic experience. Therefore, it's better to play the victim before approaching them, for the victim to brush off the interaction as something forgettable and/or enjoyable. But apart from feeding, a vampire's bite could also be used for procreation. That's where the bite comes from, or comes in. In the ideal case, the massive parasitic load overwhelms the victim's system, affecting cells and converting them into replicating factories for new parasites. The chances of a successful bite are rather slim though, as in the vast majority of the cases, the victim's immune system kills the host in an attempt to defend itself from the infection. On the other hand, if it is successful, the whole process is astonishingly fast, and in just a few days the entire system is converted, a new organism looking exactly the same as the original host on the surface. However, even the cursory dissection will reveal some major differences. Another thing you should be aware of is that blood cravings must be rigorously controlled. As you grow more accustomed to the sensation of drinking blood, you will draw less satisfaction from other kinds of pleasurable activities, while at the same time becoming more and more addicted to the blood. It's not all bad though. As the more blood consumed, you will give more energy to your system and will grow in abilities that much faster. Let's see. I have a question about the mesmerizing thing, or what would you call it? How does it work? Also, Zoe told me that my other powers will show eventually, but she doesn't know what they are. Well, first off, you don't have powers. As I said, your cells were rapidly converted and rewritten, and now you are a different kind of an organism. As much as vampires love their myths and legends, there's nothing otherworldly going on here. And while your power remains for the most part unexplored, also because of your inherent disinterest, given time, all there is to it will eventually be explained with good old-fashioned science. Now, what you call mesmerizing is, I suspect, nothing more than a potent airborne chemical mix released through your skin while in proximity of your target. Still don't know what exactly the chemical composition or delivery method, but I am currently working on a hypothesis with some potential. As for what else you can do, I can't tell you that without some thorough research. And considering how little we know about your kind, even that probably wouldn't give us definitive answers. What I can tell you are some common traits that vampire possesses. The most prominent ability is cellular interchangeability. I believe that any cell in your body could be converted to perform any function even if it's not specialized for it. In practice, this means that, for example, the cells from your lungs could be repurposed to reinforce your ribcage or improve your heart functionality. In nature, I guess the closest comparable mechanism would be that of a sea sponge. Do you understand what I mean? Not really. Well, sponges have these pockets of unspecified cells, like empty templates, that they can use to substitute other cells of their body. It is somewhat similar with vampires, except in your case, any cell in your body can transform into any type of cell if there is a need for that. The practical importance of this amazing ability is that you are better than you were as a human at basically anything, to a varying degree. You would jump higher, run farther, heal faster, think smarter, Funny, I don't feel smarter. Like I said, to a varying degree. For the most part, you won't notice much of a difference because converting cells weakens the system as a whole. However, if there was a cellular damage, the healing factor will show remarkable and consistent results when compared to humans. It is truly a astonishing ability that can significantly reduce the body's recovery period after an injury. It can, in some cases, even save your life. Of course, that doesn't mean you should treat your injuries lightly, because your body will consume more energy during the healing process and your other functions will suffer until the healing process is complete. Treating of the process is done by blood consumption, and some preliminary research points to the age of the vampire also playing a role in the speed of regeneration. Fortunately, I don't have enough volunteers to make any definitive conclusions yet. Apart from amazing regenerative capabilities, there are also some variations in the genetic structure of the parasite itself. These mutations are what I suspect is the culprit for varying traits between the vampires. Only specific genes are activated for every vampire, which decide what that vampire is capable of doing. We don't know the exact mechanism for gene activation, but from what I've gathered so far, the traits of the creator are, most of the time, inherited by their scion. Sadly, most of the vampires tend to be defensive about the full extent of their capabilities, so I can't provide much more insight into that subject. That was a lot. You said different mutations are responsible for different traits being active in vampires. What about mutations that will allow one vampire to control other vampires? That was a revelation for her, I guess. Way to go, Zoe. Real subtle. You okay? Fine. Man. Also like coffee. You're referring to legendary bloodlines, aren't you? Those are all the vampiric myths. As much as vampires pretend they are better than humans, in some cases they are even more superstitious. I didn't think you, of all people, would give credence to such tales, so just indulge us. Charlie really wanted to know about this, and I don't know what to tell him. Did he now? We were having a discussion the other day. To explain how we can only control humans, but she didn't know if there were any sort of vampires that could do more. Well, in theory, I suppose a vampire that controls other vampires could be possible. Of course, if such a vampire existed, I doubt they would have allowed for things like arbitration to be formed in the first place, would they? But there are some stories about the rulers of famous vampire kingdoms and empires being capable of incredible feats, such as having immeasurable strength and prowess, even by your kind standards, or being capable of clairvoyance, or being able to procreate the way humans do. Whether we are talking about ancient emperors, or dukes favored Vlad III, or any other prominent vampires, these are superstitions and exaggerations. There is no evidence to support any of these feats were actually achieved. I suspect these stories are only as plausible as myths about the vampires turning into bats or being repelled by Christian crosses. What about a different kind of Letterkin? Could they control other vampires? Yeah, Zoe, I thought we were trying to keep this low. She went all in. Letterkin. That what you want to know about? I'm afraid I'm not well versed on that topic. You'll probably have more luck consulting a gypsy fortune teller or a homeless nut job. He might be of more help to you. Sorry I didn't get the chance to ask before. What is Otterkin? In one word, creatures of folklore. Ever heard of Bigfoot, or Medusa, or Cyclops? Yeah. Otterkin is a catch-all term for all those mythical creatures. I don't know if any of them were a thing in the past, but so far I've not come up with even a shred of evidence of any such grumpkins and snarks ever existing. Could they be in hiding like vampires? I guess, but I deal with what I can see and examine. Bring me a leprechaun's corpse and I'll gladly dissect it. But otherwise, don't waste my time on fairy tales. What's gotten into you, Zoe? This is a far cry from your usual cynical self. Just being curious. Curious about what exactly? We're change the subject fast. How exactly did the human become a part of the arbitration? Find me your chance. That's never a long story, one I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to waste your time on. Contrary, I'd love to hear it. One day, by chance, I recalled her callousness. I witnessed a vampire trying unsuccessfully to give the bite to a human. I could have convinced myself that they were just some kind of strange lovers or pretended it was none of my business, like most people do, but instead I followed that vampire. Fortunately for me, she wasn't that careful or attentive, so I had a unique opportunity to study her in great detail. Fortunately for her sloppiness and the trail of body she left in her wake cost her life, because word of her many indiscretions finally reached the arbiter. Her execution was swift, and it left me without a subject to watch from afar. But she did serve me as a gateway to the secret world of vampires, so I'm thankful to her for that. So when I decided the time was right, I approached the arbiter with an offer of cooperation. It was an offer she saw the potential in, as did her superiors, and so we struck an agreement. That is, to provide me with access to the arbitration, their archives, and the ability to continue my research on anyone willing to participate. It was a deal of a century, at least as far as my research of the vampire goes. You make a raw gesture with your hands, trying to encompass the gloomy morgue and hopefully everything around it. And you are fine with all of this. We're all alone, the morgue of the Erotic hospital wing. Of course. Can you imagine how much of what you are is extraordinary? How much knowledge lies locked in your tissue and genes? Here I have a chance to study you and learn so much. Comfort is irrelevant when the prize is almost inconceivable. I wonder if he gets paid or not. I'm not sure. You gotta compensate this one way or another. Just imagine if the existence of vampires ever become public knowledge. All the papers and books I've published, maybe more famous than Mary Curie. Whoever that is. Our research will be the talk of the century. I guess I agree. Things you could explore and invent do seem worth the hassle. Putting it mildly. I'm glad you agree with me. Nice to find at least some kind interested in something other than themselves. No, my science increased. Yay! This whole new world filled with things we thought were impossible, but now we're living them. It's imperative we explore to the best of our abilities. Fortunately, that's where the fairy tale ends. Turns out that vampires care little about writing down anything, not because they think they end up living forever. Not to mention their proudness to superstition. So most of the records I got from arbitration were uncorroborated nonsense and quite underwhelming. On top of that, finding willing subjects for my experiment also proved difficult. Most vampires don't really care about figuring out why they are what they are. Perfectly happy with living their 90 lives in complete ignorance. Yes, well, excuse some of us for not wanting to be poked and prodded. Anyway, all this was very interesting. I'm sure you got a lot of work to do, Doc, so we'll get out of your hair. Actually, now you're here, Charlie. I never had a chance to study a vampire as young as yourself. I'd love to pick your brain. Well, not literally. Unless you'd be okay with that. Sorry, what? As I said, I rarely get any of your kind to come here voluntarily, and you being a new vampire is a perfect test of few of my hypotheses. Well, even if I were crazy enough to take you up on your offer, I don't know how valuable I'd be to you. I haven't even bitten anyone yet. What? You mean to say you're a virgin vampire? I wouldn't put it that way exactly, but... Oh, that's one more reason you should stick around. No question there, somewhere. You can grab it and... Sorry, Doc, but we don't have time for that. Zoe, I already know you don't want to participate in my experiments. You can go. Great, so Charlie and I will leave you to it then. No, I've never seen a vampire before their first feeding. This is a perfect opportunity. Need him to answer some questions. He's coming with me. You go find some other guinea pig. I'm not gonna do anything he doesn't consent to, but you still need to get over some things with him. Do I really need to call the arbitrator for this? Fine, then. I'm staying as well. I'll lead you around, neither does he. Besides, this issue of doctor-patient confidentiality. Oh, give me a break. He's my responsibility. I'm staying. Zoe. What? Stop for a second, Doc. You mind? Be my guest. You really want to stay around this butcher? There's a reason she doesn't have volunteers for experiments, you know? I don't know. I really why you act so strange. What do you mean? I mean, you told me to keep it low. You couldn't be more direct. You've been on the edge ever since we drove Amelia. Are you sure you're okay? You can stop bringing that up. I'm fine. Okay, but I think you're overreacting about the doc. He just wants me to fill a questionnaire. What's harm in that? Now, there would be more opportunity to try and find out something more. Who's there to find out? She doesn't know anything. Well, to be frank, she did tell me more than you could about how vampires work. Well, the big deal is that's going to help you out there in the real world. My assistant hit it, envy. Envy of what? Working out there in the stinky, creepy hospital? Yeah, no. Let's have some fun. Jealousy. Hey, you're actually the doc wanted to play doctor with me. Knocking off, you buffoon. It's not funny. Of course it's not. It's very concerning and cute. Whatever. She figures out something is wrong with you. And thus she will. You said yourself she doesn't know anything. You don't even have to worry about. It's just some questions. If anything seems suspicious, I'll just walk out. It's not like she can stop me. Yeah, but your thing. I don't know what to do with it. Well, with your guidance and my winning personality, I'm sure we can get through it all together. Well, I can share your enthusiasm. Sure you can. I'm giving it away for free to friends and family. Want some? Yeah, I'll take a rain check on that. You and Doc. He's all yours. I'll grab my blood and leave you to it. You break him though. Don't bother sending him back. Just toss him in the incinerator. Don't worry, Zoe. You will be in good hands. Oh, you're on your way out? Why don't you get rid of that wheelchair? Sure. Want me to grab a bucket and mop the blood as well? And clean out this place as well? You can get rid of the blood, but I don't want you to poke around here. Oh, did she call your sarcasm? You think? Shouldn't turn out 3 o'clock's a mistake. Visit me when you get back. I want to know what happened. Okay, see you soon. And that's about a good time as any to save. I'm gonna leave the questionnaire and everything for the next video because unfortunately I am limited on time. Life, work, all that fun stuff, unfortunately. But this is the Revenant. So if you've not seen anything about this game beforehand, you are very much late. But if you have, or have not, if you want to see first part, of course, in the tag icon in the right corner screen, right there, you should see the playlist. And I forget which video number we're on, but yeah, it's a full playlist. I'm gonna play this game till I reach the end because, you know, it's pretty dope and it's actually nice, immersive, has a good storyline, plot, and I'm curious as to how things are going to get to, you know, the end, how things are gonna develop. But yeah, so the Revenant, don't know what part it is, but still hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Of course, if y'all did, don't hesitate to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, so I will catch y'all in the next part. If not, hopefully y'all watch any other videos on my channel. And with that being said, hope y'all had a good day, a good yesterday, and better tomorrow. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.